Okay, so today, this morning, it's about 8 a.m. and I'm out hiking towards the Van Hook Falls in Daniel Boone National Forest. Hopefully, we'll get a good shot of the falls today. Now, I've never been on this trail, but from what I have seen, it should prove to be at least capable of producing a few good images. Maybe we'll find some others along the way, but I expect to have at least one image, and that would be of the falls. Now, it's been raining the last couple of days, which means there is a better than likely chance that the falls are very active. Okay, so we set up the camera and tripod, and we've got this confluence of two creeks that are coming into one, and we've got this nice down tree over here, right? And it bridges the creek, and it kind of gives a focal point, right? It gives a center for somebody's eye to go to. So what I'm trying to do is not using any filters yet. I'm going to see how much I can slow down the shutter speed to try and get a very, very nice smooth water, because I think it very much complements this scene to be kind of smooth and dreamlike. So let's go ahead and take a look. Now I'm at f8 at about 0.6, little longer than a half a second. Let's see how this turns out. Looks very nice, but we're getting a couple of highlights. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop it down a bit. Okay, so now we're a little shorter than a half a second. Hopefully the water still turns out nice and smooth, but we don't have any highlight warnings. I tend to shoot primarily to the left because shadows can be recovered, and usually when I find shadows I want to increase the contrast in the raw file. So usually it's not that big of a deal if I have something that's a little bit too dark, but if I have something that's too light, I really can't work with that. So I always try and shoot so that my histogram has no highlights. Well, no blown out highlights. Okay, so let's go ahead and take the photo. And there we go. Okay, so it's probably at about this point that you're wondering, who's this Michael guy And why should I be listening to him? And I guess really the answer to that is you shouldn't, or at least not entirely, right? I'm not a professional photographer, nor have I ever been a professional photographer. I guess if you had to label me, you should label me as a journeyman photographer. What that means is I'm not quite a novice, and I'm relatively knowledgeable, but I'm no expert. I am definitely not a master of photography. In fact, I've only been shooting for... Hold on. Water is extremely noisy, if you haven't learned that by now. Anyway, I'm a journeyman, which means I'm not a novice, and I know some things. Not claiming to know everything. And I guess... I'm just doing this, just document my work, add another tool to my tool belt, as it were. So take anything I say with a grain of salt, because there are better photographers on YouTube than I, and better photographers to study than I. But these videos are more of an opportunity to learn together, to make mistakes and learn how to correct them. And yeah, so that's who I am. Okay, so I'm going to run you through the composition of that last image. Basically, I wanted to get the waterfall with that kind of whirlpool that was just above it. Now, I would have explained my composition and what I was trying to do, but A, there wasn't really a good place to put the tripod for this camera, and B, I couldn't really put up my own tripod, so I was, hand holding with my big camera, and I got what I got. I obviously couldn't hand hold it so that I could smooth out the image, because I just can't. Holding it for a second, it's going to be a little shaky, and I don't want that. But I think the handheld images will come out relatively well. So I have reached another waterfall, which is good. So let's show you that. So that was a wonderful waterfall. Yeah, trees were just perfect, right? Like, basically, okay, so today's overcast, which means all the light's really diffuse, really soft, not quite as harsh, even though it's almost 10 o'clock. And the nice thing about that is it means, I don't have massive highlights in one area. I have kind of a low contrast situation, and I can adjust it as I need to. But the beauty of that scene was in how just the trees have grown naturally around that waterfall, where it's pretty much the only thing in that area that's getting a lot of light. So it really highlights that beautiful waterfall. Interestingly enough, I don't think that's the Van Hook waterfall, the one we're here for, the one the trail's named after, because that's supposed to be in another like half a mile of hiking. So I'm really excited because so far we've gotten 4 good shooting locations. We're not even done with the trail, which is a bonus. So yeah, 4 good shooting locations, 2 waterfalls. And so, with 3 relatively successful images from the day, I decided it was time to head back out. Even though there were some nice waterfall views that I didn't manage to capture, I still came away feeling like, it was a good couple of hours spent. And really, at the end of the day, that's all you can ask for. Now, I wish I would have gotten more images, and I believe I didn't even actually see the Van Hook Falls. But I'm happy with each and every image that came out today. So, if you enjoyed this content, be sure to like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for when I upload in the future. Alright, see you later.